This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome, everyone, to the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Ken, and with me, as always, Kyle. We are sans Codi this week. School's out for the summer.
Oh, yeah. Right when fall's about to hit.
And that's the end of the podcast, everyone. Have a great week.
Yeah. We don't have much to contribute.
We're going to actually just put on last week's episode and cut Codi out and then call it a day.
Take a nap at the desk.
You might hear that in the background.
Like the hungover substitute teachers we truly are.
That's the dream job. If there were any consequences, that could be the dream job.
Absolutely.
Headaches be damned.
Exactly.
So, I was looking at the release calendar. Is there any movies coming out this weekend, Kyle? There's got to be.
Any movies? Well, I guess there's one little one by the name of Venom 2.
Oh, yes, finally.
Finally. No kidding.
We are here.
Yeah, after so many release date changes and pandemics and anything else that you can come up with, we're actually getting this movie.
Oh, yes. Theatrical only. Mwah. A sequel.
Yeah.
Marvel title.
Successful franchise. And it's getting much better press than the first one even did when it first released. So
yeah, no, we'll take any good press with any of these movies. I don't care.
For sure.
I don't care if it's like
point.
Lukewarm. I don't care if it's Luke Wilson.
It's terrible, but it's also Marvel. All right, fine.
It's also theatrical only.
Yeah. No, exactly. For our industry, we'll absolutely take it, but it's good to see that there is a very big possible outcome of good news that's going to come from this release.
Yeah, this is going to be with Many Saints of Newark and Addams Family, both having day and date releases. Addams Family's PVOD, so that'll have an upcharge, and then Many Saints is free with HBO Max. But with those three releases, we should have, fingers crossed, our biggest weekend since reopening.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely going to lead off to what we're hoping to be a really great October. Not only just for normal circumstances, for given how the industry has been pushing itself upward and onwards, this is going to help even more so, I believe.
Yeah, no, we had the biggest Labor Day weekend ever. Now we're looking towards possibly the biggest October ever, which should lead the film companies back towards thinking streaming is the better option. Because they're just so one-sided on this. Yes, streaming is the future. Eventually, we'll be able to beam it directly into people's brains, and there will not be a use for the theater industry.
Of course.
But we'll all be dead before that happens. So
hang in there a little longer, guys.
Let's cash in on this theater thing while it exists, while people are open, people have survived a pandemic with their businesses. Let's really jump on these. And we've had like an amazing amount of marketing materials for these films.
Oh, yeah.
For the three upcoming are Venom, Addams Family, and then No Time to Die. It's almost overwhelming our servers, I think, at this point.
Yeah, no kidding. But that's been great because right now theaters just really need to make sure that the awareness of, their business being open and the theatrical experience still being integral for viewing any sort of movie, whether it's Many Saints or a Venom or an Addams Family. So on our website, silverscreeninsider.com, make sure that you're getting all of the assets that are available on the website, so that way you can be promoting these, three pretty big releases and getting people excited to kick off October, because, the same thing applies for the rest of releases coming the rest of this month, including No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, Dune. They're all sneaking up before you know it, and they also have great marketing assets to help with your promotions for the movies. So be sure to get right on that.
Yeah, it's all available at Silver Screen Insider for the low price of
$25 a month.
25. That's the deal of the day.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That's 2 trips to the Starbucks line.
It's true though. For the ridiculously overpriced pumpkin lattes. Come on, people. What's more important?
Limited edition pumpkin lattes. Well, I mean, other than opening big wide releases, that's our booking strategy for the next month.
Promote,
Get people in, find specials, find different ways to encourage these older crowds where we have seen a lag in people coming back to the movies to get them excited. Bond's the perfect film for that because no matter how old you are, there was a Bond movie in the theaters when you were in high school.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Going way back.
And then in the future, when all of the movies are going to be beamed into our head, there still is going to be a Bond for you to watch.
No time for mind beaming.
But yeah, there's no matter who you are as a moviegoer, there's always this need, or not maybe a need, but there's always a curiosity when it comes to Bond. Like, how does the villain upstage the previous? What sort of story, what sort of gadgets could there be? What the heck is Bond gonna pull off miraculously to save the day? And even, before this movie's coming out, there's now conversations of who's the next Bond, who's that gonna, like, there's already those talks. So especially for No Time to Die, there's going to be a major curiosity factor for Daniel Craig's final movie in this role.
Yeah, I am cautiously optimistic that it's James Bond, it's PG-13, so there's going to be an opportunity for him to come back so they can pay him untold millions of dollars to play James Bond again. But wouldn't the ultimate twist be if he actually just got shot and fell off the bridge and actually died, and that's the end?
If he comes out as a true hero, kind of like in Dark Knight Rises, yeah, that was the movie, right? Yeah. He dies, maybe not. If you do something like that, a beautiful ending, beautiful tragic ending.
Yeah, well, they spent all of, not Spectre, but it was the third one, having killed him.
Skyfall,
yes. They spent all of Skyfall at the beginning having killed him.
Right.
And then he comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
And then reemerges as 007. Well, what happens if, like, the last half hour of this movie is just him being dead? Like, actually dead.
And then someone else has to do it. Like
Daniel Craig in a coffin.
That one actress who's now, like, the new 007.
Yeah.
Like, it's just her the rest of the movie. I'm sure that'll go well.
I bet he makes a handsome corpse. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I can't disagree with that.
They doll him up. They put him in those swim trunks from the first one. All set.
Yeah. No, that's a true callback right there.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was a pretty slow week as far as booking stuff goes. We didn't have a whole lot of release changes, new films of any excitement being put out there. We talked about Clifford last week, which was the big one for the holiday season that got kind of shoehorned in there. So was there any theater or movie related news we had this week that was anything that you got excited about, Kyle?
Well, one thing that popped up that I thought was pretty interesting was that Ridley Scott is going around town saying that he is thinking of writing a sequel for Gladiator. Now, I think for the past 20 years, this has always been somewhat of a topic of, like, when's Gladiator 2 coming? There's developments, and, it's always just the same empty calories type of situation where it's like, oh yeah, it'll happen, but it won't actually happen. But if Ridley Scott is the one saying that he's going to write it and it's going to happen, then...
Yeah,
Is that actually true? Is this going to be real?
I mean,
finally?
I'll take it. Just about anything Ridley Scott makes, I'll watch.
Yeah.
But there is this great neo-classic Hollywood story about how after the first Gladiator came out, Russell Crowe hit his stride. He did Gladiator for percentage, so he made this incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've got to do this again. I got to go back to the drawing board. So he hired a screenwriting team to write Gladiator 2. And at no point did he address with the screenwriters about the fact that his character is murdered at the end. So when the screenwriters wrote a screenplay, handed it to him, and said, and this is all speculation, but when they handed him the screenplay and said, here's the screenplay, Gladiator 2, hope you like it, he said, what page is my character on? and the story goes, the screenwriter goes, your character died in the last one. And he goes, okay, fix it. So the only way to fix this is to somehow make Russell Crowe younger. And this was early 2000s before CGI is what it is.
Yes.
or to bring in a time machine of some sort. So apparently that's what it was. It was Gladiator 2 plus a time machine, which only goes to show you how much Russell Crowe loves him some Russell Crowe.
Oh, yes.
Because the screenwriting and producing credit on Gladiator 2 wasn't enough. He needed to be shirtless on the poster again.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, while I would want to see how that chaos would unfold, it's probably a good thing that this never came into fruition. I'm pretty sure like that screenwriting team at one point also like talking about it. They said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, we wrote it and knew this wasn't going to happen. So we just went for it."
Well, we're getting paid regardless. And how many scripts does a screenwriter write that don't actually get made?
Oh,
95% of them?
Yeah.
99.9% of the screenplays that get written don't turn into anything?
Yeah, exactly.
So they knew, hey, at least we're getting a paycheck for this.
Oh yeah, we gave Russell Crowe money. We get 2000s Russell Crowe money.
Yeah, you see how fat that guy is? He probably can afford some sandwiches.
That's the thing though. Would they bring Russell Crowe back if this Gladiator 2 movie happened? Would they bring Russell Crowe back? Because he's dead, and Russell Crowe is not what he used to be. And
I can't believe Russell Crowe's not in Last Duel just eating chickens and flagons of ale.
oh, he would have like what's Ben Affleck's role? Like he plays like a friar or something.
Blonde?
That would be hair styling choices aside.
Captain Haircut?
I could see Russell Crowe pulling that off. Why? Like that'd be perfect.
Yeah. No, I mean, scars on his face. I'm surprised he didn't put himself in the movie on purpose just to CGI some abs on his giant belly.
Exactly. You know, this is just a good tease for Gladiator 2.
No, and it was Paramount's sweet spot because they did Titanic and Gladiator like within a short time period of each other. So they had these massive, massive movies. So if he would have come to them with a screenplay that said Gladiator 2 on the top, they probably would have just given him a blank check for it. And they're so lucky that they didn't, because I just love picturing this idea of, I mean, that movie was acclaimed for how period correct it was, period accurate, and all of these things. And then all of a sudden, you know, Doc Brown shows up in a
Time
DeLorean.
Yeah. So, but I think Ridley Scott is smarter than that. I don't think he's going to have anything time travel related in it. But also, I think you should also know, Ridley, like, I don't think it's a good idea to do Gladiator 2 at this point. I mean, he's made great stuff, and he's hitting his stride, and we're about to see more movies from him with the likes of The Last Duel, as we were talking about with Ben Affleck's hair choice, and House of Gucci, but
I did
do we
see
need this? No?
he's making a Napoleon movie, too, which is upcoming in 2022, and that's going to be awesome.
I wonder if that's where he's getting this itch to do Gladiator 2. Was it like a Napoleon movie? He's like, oh, this brings me back to my glory days of, of
anytime
Gladiator.
somebody mentions Napoleon, I picture the guy from Bill and Ted 2 that played Napoleon that they brought in.
Yeah.
I picture that guy who's like 4'10", playing Napoleon in one of these epic movies. And you know, it's got to be somebody, some famous actor, probably Timothy Chardonnay or whatever, and he's going to play Napoleon, and that's going to be what it is, but they're going to shrink him down with CGI. And, but, you know, I mean, come on, let's just go for the joke here.
Well, speaking of Timothy Chardonnay, this brings on the next topic that I want to discuss with you.
Timothy Camembert?
Timothy Shamalama Hamana?
Shamalama Ding Dong.
You know, for a while now, there's been reports that a Wonka prequel movie is going to happen with Timothy Chalamet in the lead role as Wonka, but they also added additional casting to it just a few days ago, which includes Rowan Atkinson and Sally Hawkins.
I thought
Warner Bros. Wants to make it.
Johnny Depp killed this, like buried it 6 feet under, poured concrete on it.
It's been enough time. They're ready.
That movie was so epically bad compared to the first one.
Yes.
I mean, there was a scene in there, I believe, where a monster was eating Oompa Loompas. That's how they escaped to the island. It's burned into my my horrible brain.
It's not burned into mine, but I'll believe it.
Movie.
So, nothing ever dies. Nothing ever dies in Hollywood.
So they're actually going to make a prequel to Wonka with Rowan Atkinson, which is an awesome choice. I love him, and I'll watch him in anything that he's in.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, it's just nice to see him back to acting again. It seems like we haven't seen him for the last couple of years. And it's not like he's playing the role of Willy Wonka or anything. I don't know what his role is going to be, but it's at least a good fit, I guess. If you're, yeah, I don't know. I guess like with any actor, it can work as long as they know the type of story that's being told. But it's just weird that this movie is happening. Like, I don't know what the audience is for with this, to be honest.
I know. Do you think they're just announcing this before Dune to see if they can get some traction with it? Because Rowan Atkinson, yes, like it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be great in that, but he's not a name that's going to bring anybody to theaters. Like if I'm flipping through TV and it's on and it's like Rowan Atkinson, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I don't think there's many people these days that are going, ooh, Mr. Bean in a Wonka movie. Sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, there's two very different things at play here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this movie just seems weird to me in general, and this casting news that included like Rowan Atkins, I was like, maybe this is something like we should be talking about. Like, let's just say that this is actually happening, so that way we can wrap our heads about this. So that way, by the time it comes out in, I don't know, 2023, 2024, whatever it is, like, it's not going to be so shocking for us that this actually happened.
I do like the idea of him playing like a William Wonka senior. Like,
yeah,
he is the eccentric one, and then his son like takes it down a notch. It turns into the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka. Like, this guy was so out there. Like, he's swimming naked in the chocolate pool, and
he's like, I know the weird things my dad used to do, but let me tell you, we're changing things in the Wonka factory.
He's got people and he's trying to like doing these horrific experiments on them with the floating cola. And
how do you think those Oompa Loompas came to be?
It's like
not natural.
It's like a factory, and then half of it is like the Saw universe.
Right.
He's just torturing people.
Now, see, if Chalamet has to go against Rowan and has to stop him from his terrible experiments within the factory, that's the movie I can get behind. In the Saw universe, I think I'm up for that.
But he still plays Mr. Bean, where it's like a who's on first the whole time. It's like all these bad puns that he's got to run through. But then he has to die at the end. Everyone does. Yeah. So anyway, a Wonka movie is actually happening. It's a prequel movie. I don't even know. Like, Wonka's not a real person. Like, why is there a prequel? Or was he a real person? Like, I don't think he was at all. I don't think so. I think the candy bars came after the movie.
That's what I was thinking, too.
So it was just like a marketing thing.
Yeah, like who...
with the film.
But who is... Like, what's the prequel for? Like, I don't know. It doesn't...
There's people out there... I mean, there's got to be like one guy that's such an extreme Willy Wonka fan.
Sure.
That he's turned his house into Wonkaville.
Naturally.
And he wears the hat, and every time he goes to greet somebody at the door, he falls down.
And so the studio's going, see, people care. And it's like, no. Yeah, it's just weird, and I needed to talk to someone about this just to get it out there. So thank you for indulging. Okay, but let's talk about future upcoming releases, mainly when it comes to some of the trailers that dropped. We weren't able to talk about some of the trailers last week, so we're going to play catch up a bit. But this week, Disney's Encanto trailer was the big movie that got a trailer. So were you able to see it at all? Or
yes, they absolutely nailed this one. This is Disney going back to its roots, and it's a simple story with really great animation, and there's no line crossing in this one. There's magic, and somebody gets left out, and then they come back home, and everybody's happy. Like,
where have we heard this before?
I mean, this is every one of their movies, but this one hits a sweet spot. There's no like, Onward was a hard story to tell. Like, it was the trailer. You couldn't tell exactly what was going to happen.
Sure.
And then you ended up just looking at some dad's lower half for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Which if I had to pick a half of myself, I wouldn't have picked the lower half. Here, look at my weird knees for an hour and a half. So, I mean, this trailer was just exactly what we need. I mean, we needed it. this summer, but we'll take it at Thanksgiving, right in that frozen spot, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Big, huge, massive release. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to see it at McDonald's. We're going to see it everywhere. This is the first time we're going to see, I think, Disney go all out on a release.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that probably could have been done with Raya earlier this year, but unfortunately, things just didn't work out.
It was early Raya, and then we may see some of it with Ron's Gone Wrong in October.
Mm-hmm.
May see just a dash of them dipping their toe in the water, but I think this is the one that fits the Disney mold 100%. There's no, it's like, it's not paper drawn animation, but it is of that genre for them. This fits the Fox and the Hound and the Cinderellas and Little Mermaids. Like, it fits into that category.
Yeah.
If you put these side by side, it's the same story. It's the same movie.
Kids will like it because they'll recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the trailer was very nice, very charming. Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much to add. Like, I think from Disney, like, they'll know how to market this well. They'll know how that it can appeal to kids, and I would put the trust on, like, kids, like, understanding that this is a type of movie that they'd want to see, and especially around Thanksgiving, that'll be very encouraging for theaters. So
Yes. So this next trailer we have on our list is one that I really want to talk about.
yeah, American Underdog, the true story of Kurt Warner, the famous quarterback of the St. Louis Rams. Well, they were still St. Louis at that time, right?
St. Louis Rams,
if I recall. Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals, Iowa Barnstormers, Hy-Vee Supercenter.
Yes.
No, being from Iowa, like, Kurt Warner is a person that's larger than life for me and from the area that I grew up with. Like,
Sure.
everybody shopped at Hy-Vee, so everybody saw that guy that was kind of sad putting the Raisin Bran on the shelf.
Yeah.
But then that guy goes and wins some Arena Football League championship, and then gets a shot in the NFL again.
Yeah.
And then turns it into 2 Super Bowls and like 4 Super Bowl appearances or something crazy. Or is it just one?
Yeah.
Is it just one Super Bowl? I don't remember. But it turned a mediocre football team into the greatest show on turf was their nickname. The only gripe I have about this film, it fits Lionsgate. Lionsgate makes faith-based movies a couple times a year. They release something. They cast a younger guy to play Kurt Warner before he had the, dad on a lawnmower haircut that he has now.
Yeah.
So everything is fine. I mean, even the wife looks exactly like his wife did, like, kind of trashy. Like, she looked like, maybe. Like, that's what she looked like in real life growing up. They had her on the front page of the Des Moines Register, and you're like, huh. And then you see another picture of her, and you're like, yeah, I get it. But they had all of Hollywood to cast everyone for this film. There was nobody that was going to say no to these biopic films sell like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, historically, and even in the last 5 years, like, these are the ones that have really stood out.
Yeah.
The Rocket Mans, the Bohemian Rhapsodies. And this isn't that, but it is football, faith, and a relatable story.
Yes.
It has the other things that fit into that category.
No pun intended, but an underdog story.
I think that's on the title.
Yeah.
Underdog. So, I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how much of an underdog story it was.
I mean, he started out as an underdog.
Yeah. But they have this all going for them. They can cast anyone they want in the entire world. Please Google Dick Vermeil as the coach of the St. Louis Rams. Dick Vermeil, when he coached Kurt Warner, is the oldest man alive.
Yes.
They cast Dennis Quaid as Dick Vermeil.
Yes.
Dennis Quaid. They literally spray painted his hair gray, and they're like, go out there and pretend you're the smallest, most scared man alive.
Well, Dennis Quaid, he probably was being spray painted gray, but he was probably going, whoa, not that much.
Yeah, he was fighting back against
I'm not that old.
The whole, oh my gosh. Like, the pictures of Dick Vermeil is one cheeseburger away from being the Crypt Keeper. Like, he is this small, old, skinny man. And like, we'll replace him with Dennis Quaid, who has been a a leading man, a handsome man since the 70s in Hollywood. Even Dick Vermeil's wife would say, this is an interesting casting choice.
Even she would go, huh.
I mean, when they did Moneyball and they put Brad Pitt in for Billy Bean, that was a stretch.
Sure.
But these aren't the same sports. I mean, we're not playing the same game here with Dick Vermeil and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
They'd be better off casting Randy Quaid.
Honestly, I could probably see that.
Little skinnier because of certain usages of
certain things.
Of certain things.
Sure.
But like a side by side is just, it's incredible how far off this is. This is spit in the face of every Midwestern that is looking forward to this movie. We couldn't find anybody to play this role. I wonder
if it was the reasoning for getting Dennis Quaid was because of the faith-based attributions to this movie. Because I'm pretty sure he's I know. I'm just saying, like,
just make a good movie.
I know.
If it has a good message, people will see it.
I know. I'm on the same page as with you. I wonder if, because I believe he is a pretty religious guy, so maybe it's possible that they got him for that reason. And that's kind of what I didn't really enjoy about this movie. I mean, I echo what you're saying. Like, it does look great, like, as everything they want for, like, a Christmas time type release. It has, like, the underdog story. It talks about, sports, which is, like, a pretty relatable subject. It's a feel-good movie. It's just when it comes to the faith-based attributes that go into a movie like this, sometimes it can be not off-putting, but it can cause people to not be inclined to check it out.
Yeah, they can go over the line.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at these films, I mean, yeah, we could have put Kirk Cameron in the role.
Right.
I mean, or they could find someone who is agnostic and is interested in religion, believes certain things, and then they put him in the role. It doesn't have to be that person every time.
Yeah.
Every scene. Just find an old man with gray hair who's not 6'2". I mean,
we just saw Cry Macho. Like, how many of those gray-haired old guys at the beginning of the movie could we have?
Clint Eastwood, I'm pretty sure, is 8 years younger than Dick Vermeil was when he coached.
Now that's the movie I want to see.
Why not? Why wouldn't he play?
I'd watch it.
I mean, he's not a spiritual leader. He's a football coach.
Yeah.
Huck it, chuck it, football.
Yeah, exactly. All
right.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked good. It's just the faith-based aspect of it could cause, depending on the location, could cause grosses to be less than desirable.
There's that, but thank God we have a football movie. We haven't had one of these in a very long time.
Yeah, not like a memorable sports movie.
And regardless of how this does, sports movies that show sports in a good light do well.
Yes.
I mean, they always do better than they should have.
Yes.
Even if they're bad movies, but they show like what people want to see out of sports. They want to see Kurt Warner throwing giant touchdowns with his hair perfect when he pulls it out of his and his trashy wife.
Right.
And doing the hair transplant commercials. We want to see all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree with you. And then last week, Sony released one of their, I call them surprise movies, because we didn't really hear about this movie until like just before this trailer got released. But it's a movie called A Mouthful of Air. It stars Amanda Seyfried and an actor that is a favorite of Ken and I's. That's not true at all. Finn Wittek, who was in that movie Long Weekend that we talked about months ago, like in the midst of the pandemic.
The romantic surprise time travel movie.
Yeah. I think there's a whole podcast episode dedicated to us talking
of us bashing our heads against the table.
Yeah. So go back into the well and find
time travel
it.
movie 85 minutes into a 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a bad movie. And then what? It's like the only thing I can think of that's comparable is like Cocktail, where all of a sudden it turns into a murder mystery in the last 20 minutes.
Yes.
It makes no sense. It does not fit. I mean, I have never seen a movie that changes that drastically.
Right.
I mean, that and Cocktail are the only two that I can think of that all of a sudden the entire genre changes partway through the movie.
Yeah, we fortunately got a screener for this movie. So when that twist happened, we were lucky enough to pause the movie and go, "You heard that too, right?"
Yeah.
That's what they're saying, right? Time travel. Okay, time travel. Okay, let's keep going.
What?
This movie doesn't look anything like Long Weekend. Did I say the title already? A Mouthful of Air. But I honestly have no idea what this movie is about. I read the synopsis. I watched the trailer. I couldn't tell you what this movie is about. I think it's a romance movie, or it's a movie about a mother that has post-depression after giving birth to a child. So it's not exactly like a feel-good movie either. But again, I could totally be wrong because that's how...
No, it could be.
That's how much or how bad this trailer was to
from
me.
the trailer,
I just don't know what it is.
It could be a comedy. It could be an epic tragedy where there's something that happens with her or a baby. And it could just be Paul Giamatti going extra crazy for 90 minutes. Like we have no idea. We have no idea what this is going to turn into. It's a whatchamacallit. You don't know what this is. They'll tell you what it is. It's a thriller. What does thriller mean? It's a suspenseful. Why is there a question mark at the end of it? It's a suspenseful film, a suspenseful sci-fi comedy, romance.
I think you're just listening to all the genres.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this popped up with a time travel switch in the middle of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I just... Luckily, this comes out October 29th, I believe. So luckily, October is a great month to where you won't have to play this in a lot of your screens.
Yeah, we've already got a time travel movie that weekend with Last Night in Soho.
Time
travel-y, so don't do it to us, Sony. Don't make us choose between time travel movies.
I mean, I think the choice is obvious personally, but yeah, unfortunately, I just don't know what to make of this movie, but luckily it's in October, so it might not even matter.
We got a little time to make up some minds on it, but it is Sony, so we'll wait to hear the next release date change.
True.
But usually these random ones they stick with for some reason.
Yeah, they're very gung-ho. I think they just want to get it over with.
Long
Rip
Weekend,
the Band-Aid off.
Here Today, Kid Detective.
Yeah. Here Today wasn't bad. I liked
that
Here
one was
Today.
fine.
Yeah, that one was good.
But it literally, we heard about it 7 days before it came out in theaters.
A surprise release.
This one we have a little bit of lead time on, but we don't know what kind of movie it is.
Yeah. Maybe, if you guys could let us know what this movie is, please, because we watched the trailer and we certainly just don't know.
Yeah, and we did, on a side note, we did talk last week about advanced ticket sales, how we're not seeing them like we had pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. So we are interested because we are seeing trends with the theaters we work with. But if you, as an avid listener to the Off the Break podcast, are having trends that you're seeing, either it's, PG-13 movies or R movies or just across the board, please let us know what you're seeing for your advanced ticket sales compared to 2019, because we are interested in compiling some of these and getting an idea of what, if you're doing something that works and you have a number that's higher than most places, we definitely want to get that out there to the industry. And, a rising tide lifts all boats. We're all here to help each other, and the bigger numbers we can put up for these film companies, the bigger films we're going to get moving forward.
Yeah, great call, Ken. Hopefully people can let us know, because we're very interested and we want to see how things are shaping forward when it comes to that.
Yeah, and if you are looking for ideas on marketing, there is this incredible website that I've heard of that has a lot of great ideas, art images, promotional items.
Are you talking about silverscreeninsider.com?
That's the one. That's exactly what I was thinking.
No kidding. I was just going to use that website after this. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Off the Break podcast. We'll promise the next episode is much more normal. Cody should be back with us. But in the meantime,
not.
Well, hopefully.
Kyle's hoping.
I think the listeners are hoping more than I am. But yeah, please check out our podcast on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com, as we've mentioned a lot of times in this episode. If you're a theater owner or manager needing updated and accurate film information for the upcoming releases and all of the social media marketing assets that go with these movies, you can check us out there.
We've got Venom 2. We've got Addams Family 2. We have Many Saints of Newark, 16 years after Sopranos. This is going to be the weekend to set up the rest of October. Big grosses, everybody.
Yeah, maybe 2021.
Boom!
Bye.